Hello friends, welcome to Inside Psychian Initiative. In today's video, we are going to discuss about a topic that is known as adultery. You know that recently there was a consultation going on whether to keep this adultery as a crime or not. In this aspect, Parliamentary Committee, which is discussing on the new criminal law, the Parliamentary Committee suggested that adultery should be kept as a crime, and whatever the deficiency that section is facing. Previously, section 497 been struck down by the Supreme Court. You know that whatever the deficiencies the section is facing, they are going to be rectified, and parliamentary panel suggested that adultery should be considered as a crime. In this regard, we are going to discuss about adultery topic. In this particular topic, we will discuss why it is in news and what is adultery, legal position on the adultery now. Now at this moment, adultery is not a crime. Previously, it used to be crime under IPC Section 497, but because of the gender discriminatory nature and because that is more towards seeing women as a physical thing rather than women having the right, and because that is violating the privacy as well, that section, because of these multiple grounds, that section was struck down by the Supreme Court. And Parliamentary House Committee, now this House Committee recommended that adultery again it should be considered as a crime, but previously that section 497, which is suffering from the gender discrimination, that has to be removed, so that the court on which grounds, when whatever the grounds court struck down, those grounds will not be there, so the section can be remain valid. And again, the Supreme Court decision in this case can be undone, as it can be undone if the deficiency will be removed. And conclusion we will discuss. So these are the areas we are going to discuss in this particular video. First, we will see what Parliamentary Committee is recommending. Before that, first I have to tell you Parliamentary Committees. Parliamentary Committees are nothing but group of MPs, you know that. But Parliamentary Committees are nowhere mentioned in the Constitution. Even they were not mentioned in any statute as well. These are just Parliamentary Committees. Are simply they are constituted according to the House rules. Parliamentary Committees are Parliamentary Committees. They can be classified into two types. Okay, Parliamentary Committees, they can be classified into following two types. One type of committee is known as standing committee. The other type of committees are ad hoc committees. Like the name is suggesting, ad hoc means temporary parliamentary committees. These are the permanent parliamentary committees. And the standing committees, further they can be classified into further 6 categories. They can be classified into further 6 categories, students. Out of this, the very popular committees are departmental standing committees. Departmental standing committees. One more committees are like finance committees. Finance committees. Finance committees. These departmental standing committees, when they were constituted, around 17 departmental committees constituted, then later that 17 increased to 24 departmental standing committees. Financial committees. Tell me, students, what are the 3 different financial committees? Put your answer in the comment section. Then committees to inquire. Committees to inquire. Recently we discussed about Mahua Maitra case. In that we discussed about ethics committee. Ethics committee falls under this committee, committee to inquire. And 4th category is committee to scrutinize. Committee to scrutinize. Okay, and control the government. This includes Committee on Delegated Legislation, Committee on Government Assurances, Committee on SC/ST, Committee on Women. There are various committees under Committee to Scrutinize and Control. Committee to Scrutinize and Control. Scrutinize and Control. Next, day-to-day committees. Next, 5th type is day-to-day committees. This type of committees includes Business Advisory Committee and Rules Committee. These are various committees are there in the day-to-day committee. And finally, so house committees, we can call it as house committees, which includes library committee and various other committees. These are the 6 different types of permanent committees. Ad hoc committees are includes again advisory committees. Ad hoc committees are advisory committees and inquiry committees as well. Once they are done with their inquiry, they are ceased to exist. Here you have to understand joint parliamentary committees generally, which consists of representation from both the houses. Joint parliamentary committees are also ad hoc committees. Once they are done with their functioning, they are ceased to exist. These are the various parliamentary committees. Now, the parliamentary committee which is examining the new proposed criminal law, it is suggesting that adultery should be considered as a crime again. Now, previously IPC Section 497, which was dealing with adultery, what was that section saying? Section 497, IPC Section 497, it was saying that a man who is having sexual relationship with woman, and this woman is not a spouse of this man, and this woman is a spouse of another man, and when this man is having consensual sexual relationship with this woman without taking the permission from this man, then that will be considered as adultery, and here the men will be punished. Here the men will be punished. If this men will have sexual relation with this woman by taking the permission from this man, then this man will not be punished. So here the section 497 is suffering from various deficiencies. First deficiency, it is gender discriminatory in nature, because in this relation only men is being punished. And the second one is here, without the woman's role, if this man is taking the permission from this particular husband, then it will not be crime. That means woman is not having any right here, and woman right to dignity is being violated here. That means here woman right to life is getting violated, and even this entire right to privacy is also getting violated. So because of all these grounds, Supreme Court examined this section in a very careful manner and declared this section as a null and void. Now, the parliamentary committee recommending that this section should be modified in such a manner that in adultery both men and women should be punished. Even though this can be done with consent of that man, in spite of that the women also should be punished, so that this gender discrimination can be avoided. This gender discrimination can be overtaken, so that it will not suffer from any deficiency and it will be stand against the scrutiny of the Supreme Court. That is what parliamentary committee is suggesting. So now parliamentary committee suggestion is adultery should be considered as crime. Here both men as well as women should be punished. Now, what is your opinion, students, whether adultery should be considered as a crime or not? Put your opinion in comment section. Now let's see notes. Parliamentary Committee on Home Affairs. This is one of the departmental standing committee which is related to home affairs. It suggested that adultery should be reinstituted as a crime in the proposed Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita 2023. Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, it is a proposed legislation which is going to be replaced Indian Penal Code 1860. Next, adultery. Adultery is engaging in sexual relationship with someone other than one's spouse while being married. And this perception, of course, this adultery, whether it is a crime or not, this perception is different in different societies. Some societies consider this as a crime because it is affecting the marriage, which is very sacrament in so many culture. In many society, adultery considered as morally and socially unacceptable, and it can have a lot of negative consequences on the society as well. Till 2018, adultery in India considered as criminal offence under section 497 of IPC. This law is stated that, this section is stated that a man could be punishable for, here man, not the woman, could be punishable for consensual sexual intercourse with the wife of another man without his consent. If with his consent, then it will not be crime. That means here the woman right is completely neglected. Here the woman right to life is completely neglected. So this law did not consider women at all. Because of this biased discrimination, and because of this law section is biased against, towards men, and this particular section considered as against the fundamental rights and it was struck down by the Supreme Court. Adultery was not considered as a crime if the husband given a consent and if the husband aware of this approved relations. And obviously adultery, even if it is proven previously, it did not provide a ground for the divorce as well. After Supreme Court struck down the section 497, at that time in their judgment, Supreme Court said that now onwards adultery is not a crime, but adultery can be shown as a ground to take the divorce. That means woman, if she is suffering from adultery due to husband, then woman can show that as a proof and she can claim for the divorce. That was the Supreme Court observation in the Joseph Shine versus Union of India 2018. In this judgment, the 5-bench judge, it unanimously struck down the section 497. If you remember, in these 5 judges, one of the judge was the present CJI. The present CJI father, when he was a judge, Supreme Court judge, he upheld the section 497. Now the present CJI, D.V. Chandrachud, while in this bench, he struck down the section 497. So that we can understand how the interpretation of the sections are different in the different generations. As time is being changed, the interpretation also getting changed. The bench observed that the section 497 is a violation of Article 14. So they decriminalized this section 497 because it is discriminatory in nature and it is violating the Article 14, 15 as well as right to privacy, that is Article 21 is also getting violated. Because of this, they struck down the section 497. Next, what has the committee recommendations? This committee recommended that adultery should be punishable and this punishment should be gender neutral. Both men as well as women, both should be punished so that it will not suffer from the deficiency which was pointed out by the Supreme Court in that particular judgment. In the Madras Bar Association versus Union of India, Supreme Court clearly mentioned that if Supreme Court given judgment about any particular law, if that law is corrected the deficiency, then that law will be varied. That law can overtake the Supreme Court judgment. Okay, that was the observation of the Supreme Court. Regarding the parliamentary committees, already explained different types of parliamentary committees. The major advantage of the parliamentary committees is they help in scrutinizing the bill, evaluating the budget, especially departmental standing committees. They scrutinize the budget and overseeing the performance of the ministries so that executive is accountable to the legislature. Then origin, the concept of parliamentary committees, we borrowed this concept from British Parliament. Even in our Constituent Assembly also, we have seen this kind of major committees and minor committees. Tell me students, who led the major committee on fundamental rights? Who led the major committee on fundamental rights? These parliamentary committees, however, in 1993, they were established in a very systematic manner in the form of the departmental standing committees. Later, this 17 become 24 departmental standing committees. These departmental standing committees consist of 31 members, 21 drawn from the Lok Sabha and 10 drawn from the Rajya Sabha. Apart from this, like I mentioned earlier, another set of important committees are financial committees. These financial committees are 3 types. It includes 3 types of committees. Public Account Committee and Estimate Committee and Committee on PSUs. Here you have to understand, Estimate Committee is a committee which don't have any representation from the Rajya Sabha. It consists of members only from the Lok Sabha, that is 30 members. All of them are appointed by the Speaker. Whereas the PAC, this PAC committee is always led by the opposition party member, opposition party. The largest opposition party can nominate any person, that person will lead this committee because this committee will scrutinize CAG report. That is the reason CAG considered as friend and philosopher of this particular committee. And then what is the way forward? The way forward is the debate over the criminalization of adultery in India. It involves the careful considerations of legal aspects, constitutional and social factors. By weighing in all these factors, after careful scrutiny only, we should take decisions on these sensitive issues. Now let's see yesterday's video question. With reference to the history of India, Ugulan or the Great Tumult is led by, it was led by Birsa Munda. We discussed about Birsa Munda contributions in yesterday's video. Now let's see today's video question. Today's video is about, with reference to the adultery, consider the following statement. Under the section 397 of the Indian Penal Code, adultery was a criminal offence in India. Then section 497 does not enable a woman to file a complaint against her husband when he has had sexual intercourse with another woman. Out of this, which statement is right? Mains question. It turns out that adultery by men is illegal in India while women is exempted. But gender is not the only point of concern. Discuss critically. So this is today's mains question regarding the adultery. Now as we reach to the end of this video, we will do some quick revision. In this particular video, we discussed about what is adultery, what was Supreme Court stand on the section 497, then what was the recommendations of this parliamentary committees. Parliamentary committee is suggesting that this adultery should be reinstated as a crime. Why it is considering like that, we discussed about that, and we also discussed about the concept of parliamentary committee. So this is, students, this is the detailed analysis regarding the adultery. Thank you.